Hello and
Hello.
welcome to week 10, upcoming week 10. I think Mr. Richard Wang has something to say.
Yo, what up, everyone? This is your guest host today, Mr. Buzzboy, Buzz, aka No Loyalty, aka number one hitters. Guess what happened? It's been in the last 24 hours, I made 4 trades. So four just not like small trades, not like Dallas Goddard from M Brown trades, like 4 huge blockbuster trades. Honestly, had a big ripple effect throughout the league. So really excited to dissect that with my other co-host, ADV. Introduce yourself.
What's up, gang? It's ADV here. I love DataViz and love fantasy football. It's also why I'm 7-2. That's right. No one else has even close to the amount of same wins as I do. So that's just the kind of guy I am, you know. Rack up wins, rack up dubs against weaker opponents. That's what I do. I don't know. I'd love to see what other people would their records would be with my schedule. Maybe I'll make a DataViz about that, but you know, only time will tell.
And yes, of course, I'm here as your lovely commissioner. So
Which
we're
kinda
gonna
hurt.
start from the top. We're gonna start from the top here, and we'll take a look at Mr. Abbe's team. And you know, this man made a very interesting trade this week. He shipped off Aaron Jones and
Mike
Davis for Travis Kelce and Myles Gaskin, who are both not playing this week, and Myles Gaskin will probably not be back until week 12. So Mr. ADV obviously is gearing up for the playoffs here. Very obvious. And this week he does not yet have a quarterback. I mean, Big Ben is most likely going to play, but right now, no quarterback on the roster. Possibly no Antonio Gibson.
Mixon might be back.
His name is Kalen Balaj. That is my new star that I've incorporated into the dynasty team.
Okay.
But
Sure.
This trade, let me walk through some of my perspective.
Back and forth for the trade perspective between me and ADV. So ADV, you can go first.
Well, first, okay. So R. Wang reached out. I think you said what? You just said Travis Kelce for Aaron Jones.
So. All right, so my original goal was I needed a bye week trade bad. So before
you had to get a trade against me too because I'm playing you. So
yeah, I'm playing you. I only had 4 real
main in my squad.
Yeah, I only had four real main point scorers, which is Kyler Murray, DK, Kelce, and the Ravens Dion. So those are my 4 consistent scorers. And since Gurley was on bye and Kelce was on bye, and I was playing ADV. I needed a trade that would not only help my team out, but also hurt my opponent because being 4 and 5, every win kind of matters right now. So my philosophy, I'll trade Travis Kelce. I'll give up Myles Gaskin, who's in the IR, who won't get back for 3 weeks, for Aaron Jones because I needed RB this week because I was starting Ronald Jones as my RB1 going into this week. 24 hours ago, Ronald Jones was my RB1, and then I got Mike Davis along with the trade, which actually worked out for the best. So.
Yes, that's pretty unfortunate. I mean, I wanted to get off the Mike Davis trade, so I was like glad that you took him because like his value like went down even when Chris McCaffrey's not there. So I was like, I don't like this. They're going to Curtis Samuel, so I was glad to get him off. I think you should start him though. I think he's going to have a great week. But I mean, otherwise, you know, Travis Kelce. So it is. I do have like the best tight ends in the league for sure. I've got Hawk and I have Hooper, who has the best tight end schedule.
Number 1 and the number 2, and Kittle. You have the number 1.
Yeah. I've Kittle on my IR just to support me from the sidelines, but the issue here is that like
tight ends.
I mean, with Travis Kelce though, Travis Kelce is a number 4 highest scoring non-QB wide receiver, non-QB scorer. So I was like, damn, you know, looking at his schedule, he's scored about 20 points 6 times this season already. So, you know, I'm thinking my team's like chunks. You know, I'm getting 20 from Travis Kelce, I get 20 from Big Ben, I get like 15 from my kicker. And I'm really trying to score around like 120, and that's my goal. And then for this bye week, I'm trying to round it out and get more boom players. Aaron Jones, I loved Aaron Jones. I think is one of the top running backs in this league. As you know, he's RB9, I think. But there's some misuse going on in Green Bay where they're throwing in these guys like Jamal Williams, where they're letting these players get infected with COVID. So had to get off that. I mean, he averages like 51% on snap percentage. So.
I think they're just
Myles Gaskin. I mean, when his last game, he was 86% of the time on the field. So and he gets
Miles
like
Gaskin
8
is really good. So like
Yeah.
I feel like you're preparing for the playoffs right now. So like when Miles Gaskin's healthy again, like he is like actually like a true powerhouse.
Yeah,
Like,
and he's got an easy schedule.
a workhorse back. Like he's involved in the passing game, run game. Like Brian Flores uses the shit out of him. Like especially with Tua now.
Yeah.
Because he's a rookie.
Yeah, dude, he's a rookie and Tua is a rookie. Like they're both gonna like look for each other for all their help. Tua loves checking down to his running back, so that he's gonna gear you well for the playoffs.
Yeah. But
So
I
I'd
mean,
say
Aaron Jones is going to drop 40 this week for sure. So
Who's
yeah.
gonna drop 40?
Aaron Jones.
Oh yeah, against the
That's
Jags.
what Joe Mixon did, and I shipped him off right after that.
My whole purpose of the last 24 hours, because I'm in such a win now mode, is like, how do I acquire any possible pieces that like I need to get over 2 bye weeks with Todd Gurley and Kelsey? Like, how do I acquire all these pieces to make sure I guarantee a win against ADV this week?
That's fair. That's fair analysis.
I feel, but with his average score the past 5 weeks, I think he would beat me because like I don't think I was putting more than like 115, 120. So and he was getting like 130, 140. So
yeah, I think
I mean that's with Kelsey, right? And Gurley. So.
I think this trade obviously benefits both of you. But I think one thing for ADV is, I mean, he's got like 10 tight ends now, so you gotta get rid of some of these, get some value for them. Otherwise, you might actually. I mean, obviously, Travis Kelce is gonna like have huge production for you when he gets off the bye week, but you know, having all those tight ends isn't gonna do anything for you. I mean, maybe you'll flex like Hawk, maybe you'll flex Austin Hooper, but like you gotta definitely gonna have to ship some of these out before the trade deadline in week 11. So, but. I'll speak more on Dick's team in a bit here. Let's go to number 2. Shrog deemed him the Thanos of the league, and I have to agree with that assessment. This team is. I put up 120, and I still lost by 16 points.
Fortunate.
So, this team is the team to beat at the moment. And I say that even with Dick being high score last week because we don't know what the new Dick Wing team is going to be yet. So right now, I think this team with the one move it made to acquire Devontae Adams has established itself as that scary team. Like it's better. I think it's definitely better than Shahil's team was last year. Like last year, I was so dead set on. I thought Shahil was going to take it all for sure, but you know the Cowboys just fell apart at the end of the season as they usually do. But this team is balanced. You know, it's got everything. I don't think any of these players are. I mean, unless like the Packers start going off, like I don't think any of these players are going to be like benched in like week 16. Like I think this team is. It's got no holes. It's here to stay. It's got like top 1 or 2 at each position.
Oh yeah, 100%. He's
except tight end and kicker.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say
okay.
Tight end is very weak.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean weak.
Mark
He's still
Andrews
got Mark
is getting
Andrews.
like 3 points the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, Mark Andrews has been mad weak.
Doesn't do much in week 9. Look at that.
Yeah, he's a number 9 tight end.
Game is pretty much non-existent now. Like Lamar, like people have figured out Lamar.
Yep.
Yeah, the passing game there is pretty non-existent because they're usually winning. They don't need to pass it that much.
Why to shit that toxic cancer M Brown out? Because like he's like that
Yeah.
false hope where you want to start him, but like dude, they're not gonna do anything that
Yeah.
fast game.
One thing
Yeah.
that's scary, just right off the bat, looking at this team, it has the most points against, and it's 6-3. That's pretty scary. But moving on to number 3, Mr. Peyton Smith, who's number 3. I didn't even know that. I didn't know he was number 3 in the standings. But I guess there are a lot of 5 and 4 teams now. You know, Peyton was 0-3, right? So this is quite the comeback to the number 3 seed, and I like this team. I like this team a lot. It has that star pop power. You know, like Derrick Henry can go off. AJ Brown has been going off. Justin Jefferson is a beast. And you got Chris Carson on the bench. He hasn't even been started. He hasn't had Chris Carson for a couple of weeks now. So once Chris Carson comes back, I'm sure he'll plug him into the flex. And then he's got Darren Waller, who gets like 50 targets a game. Josh Allen.
Great game last week.
Yeah, Josh Allen had some down weeks, but I was listening to the Fantasy Footballers podcast, and they were like, it's time for Josh Allen to go off against the Seattle D, which is giving up an average of 350 pass yards a game, and that's exactly what Josh Allen did. So this team is I somehow beat this team last week, but this team is it's good. It's here to stay. I don't know who he's playing this week.
It's I think it's Shahil. I think
He's playing Shahil. Okay, yeah. We'll get to the matchups later.
That's actually a very crucial matchup because they're both a 5-4 team. So like,
yeah,
my glimmer of hope is I know one team will be 5-5, so I have a chance to sneak into the playoffs this week if I beat ADV.
No, if you beat me, you get in.
Yeah, guaranteed because there's a 5-4 matchup.
Yeah. But I mean, with Payne's team though, like going back to it, like just a quick comment. I mean, I think this is like close because it's got really good running backs, really good wide receivers, and I think the core here: Derrick Henry, Chris Carson, David Johnson. That's like solid for sure. But it's like if we were talking about Kings and like Dick's team, like this is not close to those teams. So it's like, what do you do, right? So
yeah, I mean,
it's a pretty balanced team. Like Justin Jefferson can always pop off. Darren Waller's like rest of the season probably like probably the second best tight end. David Johnson with his concussion sketch, but you can plug Chris Carson there. AJ Brown's been going off.
I think the difference maker for this team is Josh Allen. Like I think if Josh Allen is having that like 30 plus a week, like Peyton's right there in the conversation because you're expecting Derrick Henry to have like 15 to 20 a game. You're expecting AJ Brown now, he's been like at least 15, like I think 18 maybe is his lowest in the past couple of weeks. And then Justin Jefferson
downgrade. Kirk Cousins doesn't throw anymore. So Dalvin show.
Yeah, for now, but like I don't think the Vikings are going to be dominating games like they have been. So I think
I think like if you look at that, like they have a whole new game plan after the bye week. Like that's why the Thielen stock is down. That's why the Justin Jefferson stock's down and the Dalvin stock is up.
So, yeah.
But I mean, these two guys here, like he's got
Ayuk.
And Ayuk is legit. I would put him in the starting lineup.
Yeah, I think he could start over Jefferson. Like they have been trying to get Ayuk involved. So, it's a good team. It's one of the only teams in the thousands for points for. All right, moving on to number 4, Mr. Neil Pottel, who obviously we know what the core of this team is with Dalvin Cook. Now with you just mentioned that Thielen has been falling off. Dalvin Cook, holy shit! This man. He cannot be stopped.
Be losing games when Dalvin Cook puts up 38. So
yeah, how did he lose last week when
he put up 100 points? 38 came from Dalvin. So I mean, you can't have that. You got 9 spots. How can you have one spot take 40%?
I feel like on paper, like a lot of Neil's like players, they always have like high rankings and all like the expert blogs, but like realistically, a lot of them like don't really put up points. Like James Conner is always like ranked so high on all those blogs. He really doesn't put up points that often. Like Dalvin and Thielen both can't eat every week, so like they're kind of cannibalizing each other.
True. Capped at a certain amount.
Yeah, they're both capped. So like, I think like his team is definitely a lot like pretty like playoff bound though. But I feel like when he's there, he's gonna have trouble putting up points some weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at James Conner's stats right now. Like he had obviously this past week was kind of bad against Dallas, but I mean he puts up
like terrible. Like that is the worst defense. Like that should have been like a 30-point game.
Dallas defense past couple of weeks has actually been pretty solid.
Plain inspired.
Yeah, I mean James Conner should have had more than 3 points than last week. So I don't know. We'll see. If Conner falls off, this team takes a huge hit. Because there really isn't a running back after that. I'm not seeing one on the roster here. So like I mean DJ Dallas, but
yeah.
Yeah. So it could Neil's team does not have as much depth as I once thought. But obviously his receivers carry the core of his team: Keenan, Thielen, Tyler Boyd. Now he's got Ross Dwelly with Kittle out, so we'll see how that goes. But Carson Wentz, he got in that trade with
Philip Lindsay Rags. Yep.
Yeah, with Sherrod. So if Carson Wentz has a pretty easy schedule, so maybe that could be one of the boosts because Neil hasn't really started a good quarterback this year yet. So we'll see if that makes a difference in the point totals. But moving on to number 5. Number 5, I can't believe number 5 is Pranav. I know I've been doubting this team the whole season, but he is number 5. I mean, Kamara is the number 1 running back, so But this trade that happened today, and I'll let you take the floor here, Dick. Go ahead.
With the trade, I was sure the trade would go through his team first, or do you just want to go straight in the trade?
Yeah, I guess I'll touch on his team without the players that were traded. I think like the trade obviously makes a pretty huge difference, but obviously Kamara and I guess Deshaun, and then it was Hopkins were like the players that would just, take this team to like 75 points, maybe 80 points every week. And then he had some occasional contributors like Mike Williams is literally boomer bust. Like I was looking at this man's numbers. I think he had like 2 or 3 1 week. Or no, he had 0.9. He had 0.9 3 weeks ago. Then he has 19, and then he had 10 last week. That's a good sign. That's a good sign for Nav that Mike Williams is at least getting some targets, getting some production, because he's going to need that now for the rest of the season. And obviously,
with Mike Williams, he has like the easiest schedule, but also like in the past 5 weeks, he was wide receiver number 18. So that's a quick stat for you.
Okay. So solid wide receiver too. Solid wide receiver too. And then of course he's got Mr. Evans now, who had a.
Oh yeah, we gotta analyze that trade too.
He had an okay week. He had 8.4 points, and that's with AB and Godwin back. But Godwin wasn't at 100%. He's playing with like broken fingers. He had 6 targets. Okay, fair.
But that game in general was kind of a fluke. Like Brady was playing so ass that game. Like, I mean, yeah, Brady's like getting kind of like older and like more washed up, but that game was like just not an ordinary game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Bucks played historically bad football, but like, at the same time, like this is my thing with Mike Evans. Like he's probably like over the next 4 weeks, he plays Carolina, the Raiders, Kansas City, and then he has a bye week 13. So like one of these 3 weeks, he's probably gonna go off, right? He's probably like most likely against the Raiders. He's probably gonna have a good week. But like the other 2 weeks against the Panthers and the Chiefs, like this guy has the potential to just like literally not show up. And like now with AB in the fold, I don't know if Mike Evans is going to see those same red zone like targets that he sees at the goal line. And then you got Gronk there too now. So, and then you got Godwin. When Godwin's healthy, this man doesn't see any targets. So,
like Brady throughout that Sunday night game, it almost seemed like he was trying to force feed AB targets. So you can really tell that Brady's like trying to make AB like the core of that offense, kind of. So that's really going to eat into Mike Evans' like share of target.
Yeah, I agree. I think like obviously Mike Evans has the potential to go off, but like for me personally, the reason I made that trade is because I can't afford those weeks where he puts up 1.5.
Were the players to acquire, because I would honestly say those are almost like bottom of the bench / waiver wire pickups. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like Slayton. Looking back, like Slayton.
Tyler Murray for Evans 3 weeks ago, like at Nas place.
No, you did not.
I did. You were too invested in your phone. I was like, yeah. What about Kyler for Mike Evans? This is honestly before his 2 37-point games, though. So like honestly, the sentiment was way different back then. And honestly, back then you didn't know what like Mike Evans was still relevant. That just like shows how difference a couple weeks in fantasy makes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So like the reason I picked up Cam is because I think like his schedule isn't like the best. Like he plays the Ravens this week, but I think like he has a solid floor as a fantasy quarterback, and like Jacoby Myers, who I picked up last year, could be that sleeper wide receiver that I need for the rest of the season. Slayton, yeah, probably looking back, wasn't the fairest other person to include in that trade. I probably could have gotten like Mike Williams or something, but you know, you live and you learn. You live and you learn. But I almost stole one from DK just by starting Cam and Jacoby on
that was honestly a stack right there.
Yeah. So
but this, I don't know about the stack here. I mean, you got Ronald Jones, Mike Evans, Rob Gronkowski. Like, what's the max? What's the min for like that stack? Right? That's not.
Yeah.
It's not good for the team.
Nav was a quote from Nav is he said if Ronald Jones doesn't put up RB2 numbers, I'm duck fucked.
Dude, Ronald Jones was so frustrating all year because when Fournette was hurt and like Arians was actually featuring Ronald Jones, like you could tell he was a very uber talented 18 carries and he'd get 110 yards a game, and like he would put it off. But like I feel like Arians is trying to do too much, trying to both make Fournette and Ronald Jones work in this offense. They honestly play such different styles. And Ronald Jones is a bruiser back for some reason is their third down back. Like there's a lot of like question marks with their offense. Like it's almost just like a bunch of uber talented players, but I don't think Arians is like making them all mesh together. So for fantasy wise, there's just like everyone on the Bucks is kind of just taking a hit right now.
Yeah, I think Nav is banking on, and obviously he's gonna get Julio back next week, so he'll probably put Julio in for AJ Green here. So he'll have Julio, Mike Evans, Mike Williams, Kamara, Deshaun. So that'll be the core, and that's a pretty like potentially powerful core, but
Yeah, Julio's definitely going to be like he's going to go off.
yeah.
Not as much as Hopkins, but sure.
I mean, dude, Hopkins had a really bad week last week.
That's just 1 week compared to.
What if Park is the new guy in this offense, and I'm just in a constant conundrum like every single week?
Just start both of
quarterbacks
them.
are really good.
Yeah. And then moving on to numero 6, Mr. Shahil Johnny. Wow, 5-4. This is now this team is at least a bit more respectable with everything that I gave him for CMC. But this is the week that part of the reason that I made that trade was because I'm 3-5 before I made the trade, and the week after this week, like this current week that I'm playing Bolay, I wouldn't have had Mahomes or Zeke, and I needed a star. Like I needed someone who had the potential to go off as much as Kang's players, which CMC did go off last week. He had like 32. So that's part of the reason that I made that trade. I definitely gave up too much. I don't know why I threw in Corey Davis. I think when we were discussing the trade, he would not have done it just for Woods, Zeke, and Mahomes. And I did not want to give up Jarvis Landry because I think Jarvis is going to have a good second half of the season, but throwing in Corey Davis was not the best move on my part. Corey Davis had 0 points last week though, because we saw the return of Jonnu Smith, and he ate up all of Corey Davis' targets. Corey Davis put up a fat zero. We'll see what happens this week. He's starting Woods. I think obviously Woods is going against the worst pass defense in the league. He's gonna have a good week. Yeah, Woods is gonna have a good week against the Seahawks.
Diggs too, yeah.
But
like Arizona games are so high scoring. Diggs will also.
This week is gonna test Shahil, I think, because we just got news today that Kenyon Drake practiced, so there could be some sort of timeshare for the Cardinals this week against the Bills, and then he's starting Stafford against a pretty good defense in Washington. And then he's starting Zach Moss, who has been doing pretty well, but the jury's still out on him, right? Like he's still kind of relying on touchdowns, and he doesn't have as many touches as Singletary. So this week I think will be the true test, the one true test for Shahil's team against Peyton. And then next week obviously he'll have the full might with Mahomes and Zeke back and Amari. So. Okay.
I mean, yeah, I think Shahil's team is still playoff bound. Like,
yeah. I mean, probably.
Yeah.
Like, even if he loses this week, it's probably still playoff bound.
I don't know about that.
Would you not say so? I mean,
let's evaluate the playoffs.
He does have a really hard season. Yeah, he has a hard rest of season schedule, but I think Shahil he has a knack of pulling out wins, so I think he'll have what it takes to get to the playoffs.
I think it'll come down to Zeke, like whether he starts him or not, what Zeke's production will be like over the rest of the season. Like I'm assuming after the bye week that Zeke's going to be fully healthy, like he won't have that hamstring problem, so he'll probably be full go. But their offensive line is kind of shit. Also, Zeke has been dropping so many fucking balls this year. Like it's unreal how many drop. Yeah, and then he fumbles, he drops.
In that offense, like Pollard should be the starter, honestly. Like
I'm down. I'm 100% down for that.
Zeke is going full reach in that offense right now.
He's literally. I shipped this man.
Dude, like this man is more clumsy after they
were about to score against the Redskins, and the ball just deflects. Like the ball was right here, deflects off of his hands, goes to the Redskins defender, and they just and that was, I think that might have been the same play that Andy Dalton got the dirty hit on. Not that him catching that ball would have mattered, but he has not been making the plays that we're accustomed to Zeke making.
Yeah.
So
it's been a really down year for running backs just in general, though. So
yeah. All right, the man of the hour,
That's
Mr. Buzz. Holy shit! What
dude,
is this roster now?
this team is not
Crack.
recognized. Like I literally have been doing so many trades. I only have one return from who I originally drafted, and that's DK Metcalf right now. Like I have literally traded and shipped every single person just to form this super Wayne Gallman based team to be ADV.
What about the Ravens D? You didn't draft them?
Yeah, you did
Yeah,
draft him.
and the Ravens. So I guess DK and Randy are the two stayers in this team.
Okay. Okay.
So I mean,
Seems
I guess
crack.
do you want me to you want me to just talk through my thought process on like the four big trades and how I have gotten from Kyler Murray, Kelsey, DK, and
I guess
Gurley to
yeah.
a new
Let's talk.
core?
Let's talk after. We already talked about the ADV trade, so let's talk first. I guess
Okay.
the first trade you made was with Rags or Bole.
No, so the first trade I made was ADV, then it was with Rags, then it was with Bole, and then it was with Nav.
All right, yeah. So let's start with the Rags trade, and then we can move on to the other
All
two.
right, so the Rags trade is honestly the trade I probably have the most probably regret for. Like, I don't know regret, but it's like most worrisome because Kyler Murray is honestly my baby. Like, I drafted him last year when he was a rookie. I've been following this guy through his ups and downs literally since college and high school. His like freshman year at Texas A&M, where he was the Mr. He was Mr. Texas in football. And like went to A&M, fucked up really bad his freshman year, got benched. Like didn't play football for like 2 years, always sitting behind people. Went to Oklahoma, competed for that job, won it, got drafted number 1 overall, and Kyler just tore it up. I knew he was going to be a beast this year. Like I knew when I got him in the 6th round, I had something special. I was like, dude, this guy's going to tear it up. And he's honestly been keeping my team afloat because I've had pretty much no running backs or receivers other than DK like on my entire roster. But I
What?
think like right now, like other than DK, who have I been starting? M. Brown.
You got
Like
Todd Gurley.
I said,
Receivers. Yeah.
receivers.
Oh,
Yeah,
I heard. I heard
yeah.
running backs.
No, but running backs not like running backs. My running back situation is pretty weak with like going into this week. Rojo was my running back 1 because Gurley was out.
Right.
He's
Right.
by and
Right.
Jackson got hurt. So with the trade with Rags actually has a really deep team. You could tell that he needed Kyler just like to make his team complete. Like Rags is honestly a very scary team. Like we're probably going to talk a lot about Rags team, but like unfortunately he's also in the same boat as me now, where he is 4-5. So like with Rags's trade, like I honestly couldn't pass it up because like it was giving me so many upgrades to my team. It was like solidifying my receiver and my running back essentially for the rest of the year. And like quarterback is such a deep position. Like I know Kyler's probably like the player this year, but quarterback's such a deep position. Like I've always been a philosophy like you always can get more quarterbacks. Like Breeze, Tua, Bridgewater, like they all have potential to put up like not Kyler Murray level numbers, but probably like 20 to like 26 a week. But I think with the new depth on my team, I can have a lot more consistent output. Definitely can be ADV this week, I think, and then hopefully can beat Nihar, and then Rags is gonna be a tough one, and then Wes. But with this trade, it essentially shipped away M. Brown, upgraded me to Fulgham, who shipped later on, and gave me Josh Jacobs.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
would like to hear. Yeah.
I think obviously the second 2 trades is where it was a roller coaster of a day, at least from my point of view, because the first trade with Bole for Tulio, like I can see why you did it, but at the same time, and obviously me and Rags had a huge debate about this today in the fantasy chat. I think Todd Gurley's been kind of at least underrated fantasy wise this year because like nobody's talking about him, and he scored like 9 touchdowns. And
Gurley is so touchdown dependent though. Like honestly, Brian Hill looks better in our offense than Gurley. Like
yeah, I agree. Like Todd Gurley looks pretty slow. Like he's not a very good running back anymore. But the fact of the matter is that he's in the Falcons offense and he gets like help. Like we're riding him into the ground for. I guess it's because he's on a 1-year deal. Like we're riding him into the ground and we're still going to get in the red zone. We're still going to have the goal line touches. Like, yeah, he probably won't score a touchdown every game, but he's still like a valuable running back to have. But I can see now, like now that I understand what you were going to do with Julio, just fucking hold the man for a
It's all
second and,
pieces, dude. It's all
and
pieces.
ship him off in 2
I haven't
seconds.
been doing any work like this. I've literally just been thinking about trades. Like I was in a Rags. You know how Rags thinks about trades the entire season. I crammed all my Rags thought process within like a 4-hour window of the workday today.
All the transcripts in one window in one day.
Yeah. But ADV, I'd love to hear your take on this on these two trades. The Rags one, and then I guess we can go into the next one.
Yeah, I thought the Rags one was a good trade for Rags, but you also got to trace back the lineage of Schrog as a quarterbacks, right? I mean, he had Aaron Rodgers, and he basically gave him up for like free. I mean, then he got Josh Jacobs, all this stuff, but basically now he's gone back another quarterback, so it's not really much change there. It's a good thing he did it. That was his one weakness for his team. But for you, like, I mean, giving up that kind of depth, like, I guess that's a risk. But I mean, I guess it works out. But the way you ended up with having DK Metcalf now you have DeAndre Hopkins, Aaron Jones, of course, and then you're starting these two guys I gave you against me. Holy sad, 30 plus 31 point differential. I mean, you're probably going to win this week, but the one thing I'm concerned about is I don't know. It just seems something feels off. I think you're still a little bit some steps away from Kang, but you're probably the closest one there, of course. I mean, you're already scoring the same amount as before, so I think it's.
I'm not scoring.
I think all these trades have definitely made the league in general a lot more competitive as well, so that's good.
Dude, trades. I literally made these trades to make this fantasy podcast entertaining today. bring some liveliness to the league because I feel like when we're all trading, like in our league, when we're all shit talking, trading, and just like really just staring at like brewing and thinking and pondering about each other's rosters, that's when our league's the most competitive. I feel like that makes fantasy the most enjoyable.
Yeah, I think we've traded. I think this has been the most trades we've ever had in one.
Maybe in this one day alone, like.
Yeah, and now I want to touch on this last trade because this trade occurred while I was walking to pick up food. So I walked today to a place that was 1.5 miles away from our apartment. Did not realize that I would have to walk back. Did not account for that venture, but I went on like an hour walk and this trade happened during that walk, and I was just like thinking about it, and I was like, damn, like Dick fleeced the fuck out of this man. Like I was like, holy shit.
Dude, I got offered this trade though. First of all, I can explain the context of the trade as well. So
no. And then like after I've had some more time to think about it, and like it's not as lopsided as I originally thought, mainly because like you're not going to be starting, like you're only going to be starting Wayne Gallman like in an emergency situation, and
I'm always starting Wayne Gallman. For me, he's not more of a starter. He's more of like the locker room. Like, he's like, let's go, guys. Like he's like the name value of my team. Like it's honestly the Buzzboy Wayne Gallman's. Like that's like our team. Like
interesting. Yeah, he's also going to fall off though because Freeman's healthy this week. So
I mean,
I don't know why they would play Freeman over Gallman. Gallman's looks so much better.
Yeah, Freeman's so miserable.
Yeah, and then they got Alfred Morris too, who's been getting some carries.
Oh, he was sick. He was sick last
year. Yeah, so Gallman his stock is definitely going down, but I mean, you don't need him. Like this trade was basically Julio, I guess Rojo, and then the Butker thing. The Butker thing was actually interesting. Like I was thinking about it, and the Butker makes sense for Knopf's team because he really hasn't had a solid kicker all season. And if you have a kicker who can put up like double digits a week, like that actually makes like a difference production wise. So the trade isn't as lopsided as I once thought. The one thing that concerned me was Julio, not only health, but when Calvin comes back, which Calvin is probably going to come back like relatively soon, if not probably the week after the bye. And some of those games, like Julio just fades because, you know, the other teams like double cover him, and then Calvin becomes a guy because he got single coverage. So if that happens, then I think Nav is fucked. Like, I think obviously Ronald Jones is going to have better games. Like the Bucks are going to be.
He's way more talented than Fournette. Like Ronald Jones is so talented.
Ronald Jones is going to have better games. Like these past 2 weeks were kind of fluky for Ronald Jones. Like I think Ronald Jones will put up at least 8 points a week, like moving forward. But the concern for me with this trade was just Julio. Like obviously Julio's a beast when he's healthy, when he's on the field, but then with Calvin coming back, like the target share could go down for him. Like I don't know if he's going to produce at the same level as Hopkins, but then when you factor in Butker and Rojo, I think the trade actually is a lot more fair than I originally thought.
Like
And I think
Rojo is good. Like Rojo, if he gets another opportunity, like where he can shine as a star back, like he will be like I would say he's a top 7 running back. Like honestly,
I don't know about that,
I don't know.
He
What are you talking
was putting up
about?
100 yards and a touchdown every single game. Like he was
I think
tearing it up, and he's
I-
involved in the receiving
I think he's right there in the RB 13 to RB 19 conversation. Like he's right in there as like a top RB 2.
range.
He's right in there as a top RB 2. Like after the first 12 in our league, like those are all our RB 1s, right? Like 13 to 19, like the top RB 2s. He's right
Yeah,
there.
that's it. All right, fair. I mean, this trade boils down for me. So, like the history of this trade was Nav offered me Hopkins for Rojo and Julio. Wayne Gallman and Naheem Hines to him are almost just players he kind of had to deal with because like you also had to remember that Nav's IR was clearing out this week, so he had to put players back onto his active roster. So it almost seems like those two just came along with the deal because he was going to drop them anyways. So then me including Butker was almost just like that way it could be a 3-for-3 trade instead of for a 2-for-1 trade. So he could deal with his roster later on when he finds out who clears from IR.
Yeah.
So that's also another piece.
Yeah, we'll see. I think this week will be very telling for Hopkins because he had a down week last week. I think the Dolphins they put Xavier Howard on him and he drew a lot of PI calls, but because Xavier Howard is on him, he didn't get as many catches as he normally does. I think this week he plays Tre'Davious White, who your other boy Metcalf kind of exposed last week. So we'll see if Hopkins can take advantage of Tre'Davious White, then I think your team is set. Like I think that will be you will be right there. You'll be right up there with DK once the playoffs start. But moving on to number 8, Mr. Derek Bollet. And I don't really I can kind of get why he made that trade. He is starting Fulgham this week.
Yeah.
But like I feel like Bollet needed like immediate help and
He
Todd
did.
Gurley is not giving him immediate help.
He started Le'Veon the last 2 weeks, so like you could tell he needed help. Now he's starting AP, so like
Yeah, like
his running backs were like not great. And Todd Gurley next week, like you said, Gurley will produce you that 12 to 15 that like he's always
but Gurley has a solid floor like at the least just because like he's getting so many carries and like. But what concerns me, like Bollet is that guy who's always been good at like the spot starts. Like he's good. He's been good this season at like picking up people. Like that one week where he picked up Adam Humphries and he picked up Ryan Tannehill and they just like and he flexed Humphries and they both just like went off. Like Bollet is really good at that.
Yeah. He beat Neil that week, right? When that happened,
he beat someone good that week. Like he beat someone that he should not have beaten. Yeah. So. But this week is pretty concerning. Just like he doesn't have great matchups, and like Tyler Lockett can go off, but like no one on this team right now is really like scaring me. Like okay, Fulgham could do well, but like Alshon's coming back, Miles Sanders is coming back, like
Rager's back too. So
Rager's back. So like. No one on and like Jonathan Taylor's been getting like phased out. Like he had like 6 carries last week and he like fumbled and he's in the doghouse kind of. Like I'm sure they'll give it to him to start the game tomorrow, but like if he doesn't do well, like he might just like get benched completely. So
I have a question for y'all. So the original trade I proposed to Bollet was Gurley and Kirk for Julio, but he said he wanted Fulgham. So would you say he would have been better off taking Kirk or Fulgham?
I would say Kirk because I would say that, like, I guess he gave you Julio, but like I would say like Bollet kind of needs that. He doesn't have that pop anymore, and I think Christian Kirk he only catches what like 5 to 6 like receptions a game at most.
Probably gets 5 to 6 balls, but he probably gets 2 to 3 deep targets a game though.
Yeah, and he's been hitting those. So like I would say Fulgham is gonna give him that solid floor probably, but I would say Kirk was probably more of a need for what his team like needs to be in the playoffs. Like he needs like that 20 points from like a receiver. But Fulgham is still a good player. So
I think it's negligible.
It says negligible.
Yep.
Okay. Moving on to number 9.
Ooh, look at all this green. Oh my God.
Oh,
What a dub.
Money.
Rags
Rags
plays
team's too cracked.
Rags plays West this week, and West probably won't have Galladay, right? So
Or Mixon.
or Mixon
Rags is gonna murk this week.
is Mixon confirmed out?
No. He didn't practice today.
Oh shit.
Geo season.
And yeah, this man has the full might of his team back. He's finally got Chubb and Miles Sanders both off IR. Will Fuller solid. Cooper Kupp has actually been pretty good.
I think the last games were kind of bad, but
Targets in that game, yeah.
he's pretty sick though. I think like after bye weeks, he usually pops off. Like looking at last year towards the end of the season, like he was putting up 15 to 20 per game.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, and he plays the Seahawks. So odds are Cooper Kupp is gonna have a good game. I mean, yeah,
Yep.
just pure green everywhere. Yet to be. I don't know why he has Jonnu Smith bench right now, but I'm sure he'll start him or pick up a tight end. Shrog was trying to tell me that Darnell Mooney. He's trying to tell me that Darnell Mooney is going to start producing on the same level as all the other good rookie wide receivers like Travis Fulgham and Justin Jefferson.
I agree.
What the fuck, dude? He's
Darnell
in the Bears.
Mooney. Here's the stat:
He's in the Bears
50
offense.
targets, 50 catches without a single drop.
It doesn't.
And he just started to merge too.
It
It's like
doesn't
the
matter
thing-
how
Well,
many
the problem is
targets.
Nick Foles is like
Yeah,
missing.
yeah,
He's getting
no, the-
better. He's
Yeah,
getting
that's
better
like-
after each week.
I'm not
Like,
saying
he's
Darnell
progressing.
Mooney is not a good player.
Nick Foles is like regressing each week.
No. He's playing better.
I'm not saying that Darnell
Foles
Mooney
is
is
not
the problem. I'm saying the Bears offense is it's a
True.
problem. It's the reason they lose
yeah.
every game.
Because Bears defense is really solid. Like that,
Yeah.
that game against the Titans, they were in the game just because their defense the entire time, but
Yeah.
could
Stop
not
Derrick
score.
Henry.
Dude, David Montgomery is the king of. Dude, Adam Gase decided to run like a 4th and 3. Like, for some reason, decided to run a David Montgomery every time. It never works, and their offense just gives the ball back, and then their defense has to make plays. Like the Chicago Bears, I don't know what they're doing up there. Like,
They're fake. They're just a fake team. Like their
Yeah.
offense is complete garbage. Like Darnell Mooney is obviously a very good player, but in that offense, like I think his ceiling is capped like majorly. And so not that it really matters for Rags, but
It really takes one play though. Like one of those, because he's always running those deep routes. Takes one of those, and suddenly you have a wide receiver that gets like 14,
Yeah.
15 points a game off that one
yeah,
play.
but you also have to realize like he gets Ridley back next week. So,
yeah,
like,
like
right.
his
this
team's
team is
gonna be
Ridley.
complete. Like his team is like, if you look at it, Rags' team has no holes. Like honestly, like he's gonna plug Janu in at tight end. Like he doesn't have like a really weak spot on his team anymore.
I think his like defense and kicker. I think he just like sometimes picks the wrong defense and kicker every week. But
Do you think that's
I mean,
management?
those are you're losing like 20 points there. So that's
Yeah.
like
Chip Kelly
I think-
moves
Oh, man.
as,
The Saints D this week obviously is a good start. Ryan Suckup. I don't really know how he's been doing, but I'm assuming with the
I feel like the 49ers are going to win that game. I mean, like we saw what happened. When the 49ers got embarrassed by it was the week before they played the Rams, right? And everyone's like, "Oh, Rams are a lock. Rams are a lock." And Kyle Shanahan just put the flame out.
Yeah, but I think the Saints like have come together like after this like win against the Bucks. Like I think they're like the Saints have finally figured out their identity, and so I
Maybe.
really do
But
not.
the
I mean,
Bears
if you
Tom Brady.
think the Niners are gonna win, I think they're like plus 400. So you should definitely take that value. You think
Maybe
the Niners,
might have to.
the Niners are gonna win. I don't see the Niners winning, but yeah, I think Rags is a lock for a dub this week. Like he plays West without West's top players. Like it's that one's pretty much a wrap.
Yeah, but you also got to think about like me and Rags are both in the same boat. We're both 4 and 5. We realistically have to win 3 of the next 4 games in order to make the playoffs. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys have. I mean, yeah, you guys have very little
we have
margin
the
for
top
error.
climb.
You have very
Yeah.
little margin for error, but you're also in two very good positions, like roster wise, to be able.
Like I think me and Rags have to jump Shahil and Pranav. Like that should be our main focus.
It seems like a very doable, very doable thing to do.
I mean, I don't know. We only have 4 weeks to do it, so.
Unless UBD jumps you first.
I mean, you only have to beat Dick. You only have to jump one person because you're in 7th. Rags has to jump. Rags has to jump 3 people. So
How does Bole have more points than Rags? Well, I guess Rags has all his injuries. So
yeah, Rags had a lot of injuries. It's actually pretty good that he's 4 and 5 with all the injuries that he's had.
yeah.
Oh man.
This is a
Jeez.
solid squad. Because right now we're not seeing CMC in this lineup. But I think
this
I don't know what you're projected right now.
This is rough. This is rough down here.
Yeah.
This is, oh my god. I'm projected like 108 this week. Like I'm not expecting much. My hope is that Antonio Gibson is ruled out, which I think he could, and even if he plays, I think he'll be limited. Duke Johnson is most likely going to start, so I might plug him in here for Slayton because Slayton only had 23 yards against the Eagles last time. So, but I like Jarvis. I like the Baker Jarvis stack this week against the Texans. Like the Texans let fucking Jake Luton throw for like 300 something yards and a TD. So, I think Baker will have a bounce back game. I think Jarvis Landry is going to get the majority of the target share there, so I like those guys. Ebron against the Bengals should be at least decent production, and then I got the number 3 defense now with the Dolphins, so we'll see how that goes. I mean, the Chargers are a good offense, but the Dolphins have that star potential on defense.
Dolphins are on the rise right now. For
Yeah,
sure.
Dolphins are a hot team, and then obviously Justin Tucker's a stud. So the one thing here that I did not expect is another injury in the form of Mr. Darrell Henderson, who might not be playing this week.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, he might be out. So
I'm going to pick up Malcolm Brown right now.
That would be a dagger. That would be the ultimate dagger.
Is M Brown out right now? Wait, so ADV, are you gonna start Gio? Like, what's your plan of Gibson?
Yeah, I'm gonna start Gio, and then I'm gonna start like a sneaky one, like a Benny Snell, if you will.
Oh.
Or maybe Cam Akers. Let me pick up.
This man McVay lied to me. He said Darrell Henderson's injury not that serious. Holy shit. No, Darrell Henderson could be the nail in the coffin. I mean, unless Duke Johnson starts, then I'll just plug him in. But we'll see. I got a lot of potentials here. Alshon could be a sneaky pickup if he actually gets like a decent amount of snaps. I'm benching Cam and Jacoby Myers this week against the Ravens. Do not expect. Jacoby. Yeah, I could flex Jacoby. I don't have much faith in the Patriots offense though. Like they're run first. Like,
I mean, not when they're going to be down against the Ravens, you know.
Yeah. Game script could favor Jacoby. I'm definitely not gonna. I don't think I can play Cam this week. Like I don't think he's gonna have a good week. I think he's gonna be having some turnovers. We'll see. Who knows what moves I'll make before Sunday? But I'm playing Bull A. That's the one good thing. Is that his?
Everyone's in a trade frenzy. Take advantage.
It's gonna be the battle of the lowest scorers probably between me and Bull A this week.
I might get it.
We'll see. Give me your $10.
And now we move to the bottom two. And
this team is stacked with wide receivers. Big team.
Yeah,
solid pieces here.
Big should ship.
Samuel.
Yeah, Big should have shipped some of these guys. Might be too late, but I think he should have shipped some of his receivers that he's not starting. Like he didn't start Judy against the Falcons. Questionable. Yeah, Melvin. I actually don't. Melvin got the Falcons shut down the Broncos run game last week, but
yeah.
Well, no, the Falcons were up though, right? 28 to like. What was it?
No, we shut down the run game. We didn't shut down the offense. We just shut down the run game because we had the Falcons had the 6th best rush defense.
But the Broncos
Melvin only rushed for six times, right? I don't know how much Lindsey rushed too, but I think like they just abandoned it.
No, but they were averaging like less than 3 yards a carry. Like he was averaging 3 yards a carry, and then Philip Lindsay was averaging like 2.3. But yeah, Melvin will probably have a better game against the Raiders.
Probably not.
His court day got pushed back. So he probably won't be suspended this season. I don't know. I mean, I think he'll have a better game than he did against the Falcons. Like he only had 3 points. So.
I mean, Devontae Parker's the guy you got to start here. Like that guy should be in your lineup. Like this week, he might be the top wide receiver for this team right here.
I think if we literally watched Chris Godwin try to play with broken fingers last week. I think you got to bench Chris Godwin until he's fully healthy.
Right.
I don't think he's even if he gets the ball thrown to him, he's not going to be as reliable as he once was with those broken fingers. So I think you got to start one of these other guys. You got to start Curtis Samuel or Judy or Devontae Parker. I think this week you got to start Curtis Samuel just with McCaffrey out. So we'll see what Big does. But yeah, a little bit too late for Mr. Big to make any moves unless he gets. I mean, he could be Prono this week. So.
He might.
And then finally, Mr. Wesley Anderson, who has
Wes
had
is-
some.
Go
Yeah,
ahead,
I mean,
sorry.
he just had like the worst injury luck. Like even after the trade with ADV, like all these players are just not healthy for him. Like Galladay,
unfortunate.
Mixon. Yeah, it's like really, really bad luck for this man. Feel for
Well, at
him.
the same time, Aaron Jones is injured too, so it's not like
Yeah, but he had all three get injured. Like Freeman, Galladay, and Mixon all got injured. Literally, all three players were hurt. I mean, like with like his full roster, like I think he could like steal some wins, but I don't see that happening until he gets Galladay back. I don't think Freeman is actually that relevant. I think
Oh.
Galladay and then Shark are the main cogs here.
I would say though, I would be more scared to play Wes's team than Bick or UBD. TBH.
I agree. I think yeah, with Lamar, DeAndre Swift, Michael Thomas, Juju, emergent Juju,
Yeah,
he's back.
like Wes's team can definitely like surprise you and probably pop off like just like this like if it just happens to be. So like I feel like with UB and Bick like I feel like they're around like the 90 to like low 100 range, but like West is like one of those teams where it can like be an absolute implosion or go absolutely off.
Wrong.
think he
Wrong.
scored higher than 100, yeah, I
I'm at
don't-
100. I'm at a 1,020 point score, Dick. Wrong. False. Incorrect.
And
But
what's his
I think the
819?
current status of your team
What?
current status. This is a post trade and post McCaffrey injury.
Yeah, post McCaffrey injury, and also note I got false hope with Raheem possibly coming back this week, and then fucking Shanahan just rules him out even though he wants to play. Some nonsense.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree with that. Like, right, like this week you definitely want to be playing me. So, I could if Joe Mixon is healthy,
It's number one rush defense.
yeah, but like they'll probably use him a decent amount. Like they'll
They
probably
don't.
be down.
That's the thing. They don't do that. They don't do that there in Cincinnati.
Yeah, it's definitely an uphill battle for West, and he's got Hayden Hurst on the bye. Does he have a backup side end?
Wait, who's he
Jimmy
playing
Graham.
this week?
He plays Rags.
Okay, yeah, I know. I think it'll be close. I don't.
I
think
don't
Big
know.
Club
I don't know if
and
it'll be
Rags are gonna
close.
Pop off like that, but
We
mean,
saw
I think
all
close
the
to be
the green. We saw all the green with the Rags. So I
oh,
don't know.
true.
I don't know.
forgot
I don't
about
know if it's gonna be
Yeah,
close, but
Money shot.
Rags should win.
yeah, like Rags should win pretty easily. But like if West is Galladay confirmed out, because like if West gets Galladay back, then I think he's got a fighting chance. Because Galladay's a difference maker.
that. Yeah, Galladay will give you straight up like 12 points a game, 12, 14,
I'm
14
telling you,
points a game.
West's team is on the mad come up.
Who's this?
Wes's.
I think it might be too late for that.
Too late for that, but yeah, I could see like in like week like 12 and 13, like when West has like everybody back, like you definitely don't. If you're like a top team, like you definitely don't want to be playing him.
I'm gonna be nervous to play West again for sure.
Yeah.
I think I'm more nervous to play West again than our matchup this week, TBH.
Well, yeah, dude, I don't know who to be playing right now. Dude.
Like West's team is scary.
All right.
What do you guys think the number is? You think if someone gets 7-6, they'll be in the playoffs? Do you think there'll be a team in this league that has 7-6?
No,
not be
You
in?
have to be 7-6 and have like a really high points for.
So you think a team with 7-6 is not guaranteed? You're saying that?
Yeah,
There
they're not
might be
guaranteed.
there might be a 7-6 team that doesn't make it based on points for, but it's pretty unlikely.
We're
So-
very
so-
like, other than ADV, like we're all pretty neck and neck. Like we're all pretty reachable.
Yeah.
ADV being 7-2 is such a strong thing. Like 7
Yeah.
wins.
I mean, he's pretty much he's definitely going to get one of the top 2 seeds. So
If I didn't trade with Dick, I would have been guaranteed 8-2. So that's the thing. But damn,
yeah.
Had to steal a win.
yeah, steal a win, trade a win.
What,
Trading
what would you
wins
rate the
for-
roster pre-trade or to post-trade? You think it's
Huh?
gotten worse or better? Because I
I
feel
mean,
like
I think my team is still kind of fraudulent. I don't think my team has been put to the test. So I'm
You're-
trying to get like some boom players, right? I have very consistent players right now. That's why I'm always scoring. Like every time I score more than 100 points, I win. So that's just luck.
I think Dick, I think your roster is I think it's better holistically every position is better, but at the same time like like I don't actually know how good Aaron Jones probably will do well this week against the Jaguars, which is the way that they use Aaron Jones. They don't
Ridiculous.
work him. Like they don't give him like all the carries. Like they don't give him all the passing downs. Like Jamal Williams is very involved. Like they're trying to involve Tyler Irvin and Dexter Williams. And then there's Josh Jacobs, who I don't know if you watched. Me and ADV watched pretty much the whole
Yeah.
Raiders game this past
Yeah,
week, and like
I had mad bones on that game. I know everything about the Raiders offense like the back
Hey,
of my
we
head.
did as well.
yeah, Booker
Um,
was getting
I mean-
involved there.
Jacobs was also hurt going into this week. I also remember that. So like a lot of my players I traded for were also injured going into. So they're very buy low targets.
Yeah, like on paper, your team should be cracked, but like I think your wide receivers are going to be fine. Like they're going to be like the part of your team that carries you. But Jerry's still out in terms of just production against Kang. Like the Jerry's out on your running backs being able to match that kind of level. And then there's Drew Brees who plays the Falcons twice. So odds are he's gonna go
He
off.
plays the Falcons twice in the next like his matchups are mad easy.
Yeah, in the next after this week, in the 3 weeks after that.
I'm in a win now mode. Hopefully Drew Brees can take me there, and by the time playoffs start, Tua is fully developed. That's my new Kyler Murray
Why
project.
don't you get another QB? You should have 4 QBs on your roster at all
I
times.
got Teddy too. I mean, I'm not gonna pick up Rivers, or Drew Lock.
No, I don't think anyone is trying to start Philip Rivers.
Yeah, like, I'm not gonna
Turnover machine. But yeah, it's gonna be. I guess this is obviously this is a very pivotal week for
I think
every team.
Yeah, I'd say if you're not 5-5 after this week, it's gonna be really hard to make the playoffs. Like with being 3 weeks left, like that's why I'd say me and Shirag are honestly in a pretty bad position still. Like we have to win this week.
Yeah, but like right now you're projected to be ADV by 50 points. So
You're not starting a QB yet.
yeah, but even then, like that's still a 30-point difference for
Dude,
this
if I
week.
lose to ADV this week, I think I might dude, I don't know what I'll do. I have invested
Give me
so
your players.
much time and brain mental capacity on these trades. Like
Yeah, if you lose to ADV this week, like you're not gonna make the playoffs. Like,
I was honestly mad scared going into this week because Ronald Jones is my RB1. Like ADV had Jones coming back to play Jacksonville and Mike Davis, who was going to start like bye and Gurley goes on a bye. Like if I didn't make instant moves, it was pretty much like that's gonna be an L. So,
yeah. My only goal for the rest of the season is just to ruin other people's seasons. That's it.
You're probably gonna try to ruin mine.
Our wing.
I won't have McCaffrey for that week though, so we'll see. But appreciate you guys being on. It's a good time.
For sure.
Awesome.
Good luck in week 10.